3 possessions on this trip. Miller really doing his damage. He's nearing double digits in rebounds here tonight. His free throw from Miller is good, and now the lead has swelled to 7 for Winfield after Scott led by 7 in the first half. Now they get it up ahead out of the token pressure by Winfield in the backcourt. So give it off for Sharps. Tried to penetrate in, but has to circle back around. Sharps now looking and waiting here as Winfield kind of laying back here at the moment in this defense as they kick it back up top for Sharps. Dribbles over to his right. Again, no openings. They give it back to Setzer, who had to sit down with a little bit of foul trouble near the end of the first half as they get almost a whistle that time, and Music tried to draw the charge, but the official told him, you got to get up on that, son, and Setzer will lay it in as he gets into double figures with 10. So they felt like that was kind of a sell job that time by Music, and they didn't give him the call. So the lead down to 5. 28-23 is Rice. Top of the key, dribbles over to the left side, cut off. Looking for help, has to throw it up top, and it's knocked away by Setzer. Here come the Skyhawks. Sharps drives in right side, and the lead down to 3 as he gets himself into double figures now with 10. So as soon as the lead ballooned to 7, Scott answers back with 2 quick buckets. The largest lead for either side's been 7 so far this evening. Griffith dribbles inside, kicks it out, now quickly over to the left corner. Miller, though, doesn't have an opening against Clemens. Gives it down low for Langery, back to Miller, fakes on a 3 again, gets into the paint, pump fakes, kicks it out. Rice gets a good look from the right side, but too strong. Rebound into the corner, saved by Miller, kicks it out. Music attacks the lane, pull up floater, won't get it to fall. Another offensive board, though, by Winfield. Rice gets it over left side. Miller this time will get it off before Clemens gets out, but the three-pointer off the mark and knocked out of bounds off of Scott. So Winfield attacking the glass here at the start of the third quarter. We didn't see a ton of second and third opportunities in the first half. For Winfield, this will be their 4th opportunity on this trip alone. They go down to Langery, turnaround left-hander in the paint, can't get it to go, and Clemens with a strong rebound. So a chance to cut it to 1 or tie on this trip for the Skyhawks. Setzer, nice crossover, gets inside, can't finish though. Good defense there by Langery to stay in front of him. They get it up ahead now. Music couldn't gather it in time to get a shot off, so he'll give it back over for Griffith. Spinning into the lane, has to retreat. Gets it back right side for Miller. Drives in on Clemens along the baseline, but cut off by Sharps. Looking for help, he throws it away as Adkins there to take it. Here comes the Skyhawks back the other way. Setzer drives in left side, another tough take for him. Can't get it to fall. Clemens, though, on the boards. Tries to kick it out, lost it. Let's see who they call it out on here. Haven't seen an official sign yet, but it looks like they're going to say it stays with Scott with 5:16 to go in the third. And these officials have let both sides play here tonight. It's been a quick-moving game so far. As they inbound it quickly, nice cut by Sharps, and he'll lay it in. That's a good find off that inbound, a good set play there for the Skyhawks. So 28-27 after the 7-point lead. The last 6 have gone to Scott. Rice looking to end that. 3 on the way. Another one pops out on him. Rebounded by Clemens. And Rice has been close several times here tonight, but just not been able to find the friendly roll here at Skyhawk High School as they get it over for Sharps. 3 on the way. That one too strong. Trying to save it was Walls on the far side, but he tips it to Griffith. Now Sharps hits the deck, trying to get up. Underneath they go to Langery. Gets position, and he'll lay it in. So Winfield attacked quickly once they realized that they had the numbers on Scott as the Skyhawks can't convert on a quick trip. Now here comes Rice into the middle. Gives it off for Miller. Drives in on Clemens. Tried to adjust his body to avoid the long arms on him. Can't finish. Langery can't hit either. Nice tip out by Setzer as he gets it to Sharps. Sharps cut off by Griffith. Now at the top of the key. Finds Clemens cutting to the basket, and they're going to call him for a travel. As it looked like he had that left side open for a moment, but tried to cross over to his right and ended up taking too many steps. As you see here on our little general store instant replay, the nice lay-in by Langery after he established position down low on that left block. So now Clemens will go to the bench for a breather as Hunter Knoll will check back in for Scott. It's nearly halfway gone here in the third quarter, 30-27 Winfield, and we get a whistle up top here. And looks like going to get a foul on Griffith. He was moving while trying to set that screen So that'll give it back over to the Skyhawks. Again, it's been a tight game all the way through, much like the Logan and Chapmanville game on Friday night, where neither team led by more than 7 points throughout the entire contest until overtime when our Chapmanville pulled away. We've had a similar story here tonight. Setzer over left side. Atkins back up top for Setzer. Penetrates in and lost the ball as it may have been poked away from him. Setzer thought he was fouled, but didn't get a call. And now they go inside for Miller. Cut off on the right side. Kicks it back up top, but Sharps intercepts. Long pass up ahead for Knoll. One-on-one now. Fakes on Dillard. Kicks it into the corner. Atkins looking for the tie. Can't get it to fall as it rims off twice. Rebound comes down for Winfield. So a missed opportunity for the Skyhawks on that trip, and now Music looking to make them pay. Fakes twice, goes up for three, can't get it to fall. But there's Rice going up on the offensive rebound. He can't convert. And now Winfield wanting a foul as the pass up ahead gets away from Atkins and out of bounds back over to Winfield. Jackson Cunningham will check back in now for the Generals as Miller will go to the bench. It's been great back and forth action here, up and down pace, but neither team able to find a whole lot of offense here in the third, much like the start of the first quarter. Now they're going to get a foul about 90 feet away from the basket as Sharps tripped up Griffith that time. So Winfield will go back and inbound again from underneath Scott's basket. They get it into Dillard. Scott trying to push the pressure here. As able to break it is Griffith. Gets all the way into the paint, fakes the pass. Reverse layup will go for Cody Griffith. What a drive by him. And the lead is back to 5 now for Winfield. Into the corner. Walls kicks it out. Atkins drives in. Gives it to Sharps. Sharps into the left corner. Again, Winfield been able to close out on these three-point shooters very well all night long. Setzer at the top of the key, forcing his way in, draws the contact, and he'll go to the free throw line. And Setzer's played so physical all night long, trying to create as much offense for the club that he can. As you see the first layup by Griffith here on our instant replay, brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group. And that pushed the lead to 5 for Winfield just a moment ago. Setzer trying to get this back down to a single-digit game. I should say a single-score game, but that one, don't know how that didn't go down. It rattled around 3 or 4 times, but just pops out. Loudon White will check back in, along with Lincoln Burnside, as Knoll will go to the bench, along with Walls. As Setzer sinks the second free throw. He's now got 11 points for the game, and it's a 32-28 lead for Winfield. 2:27 to go in the third quarter. Rice looking for help now as he's being harassed by Elkins. He's able to get it up top for Griffith. Griffith to Rice on the right wing. Faking, goes down low now. Tough angle for Cunningham. Gets it over for Music. Fakes on the three, and they're going to say he travels with it. So that'll give it back over for Scott, trying to get this down to a one-possession game. Again, this is Scott team still dealing with the absence of Reese Carden. Again, you saw him tonight. He was leading scorer for Scott. Had that unbelievable quarterfinal game against Logan in the state tournament last year, but he's still wearing that boot. And that's a lot of point production missing for the Skyhawks in this lineup as Sharps can't hit on the layup, and then Griffith can't hang on to the ball on the other end. Again, right now, both teams being sped up by the pressure they're putting on, but on the offensive end, just kind of feel like both teams want to slow down a little bit, try and get into a set and get a productive shot on one of these trips, because it's just been a little helter-skelter on both ends. Now here comes Atkins. He'll drive baseline. Nice look there as they settle down, and Atkins was able to take the baseline and lay it in for his first bucket. 32-30 now, Winfield leads it. Music able to cross midcourt. Trapped once he does. Gets across court for Rice. He'll penetrate in. Floater on the way. Going to be short. Rebounded by Setzer. Long pass up to Sharps. Drives in on Music. Layup won't fall. Rebounded though. Put back up and in as White ties the game at 32. Now here comes Griffith trying to answer back. Underneath. Nice fake by Dillard. He'll be fouled on the way up. And that'll send him to the line to shoot a pair with 1:08 to go in the third. As Winfield set to make wholesale changes here. This will be the equivalent of a hockey line change after this first free throw. As you see the putback here by White. Nice job by him continuing to run the floor after Sharps couldn't finish it off. That tied the game momentarily as Dillard just now gives Winfield the lead back. So Coach Tarr looking to get his starters an extended rest here at the end of the third quarter heading into the fourth. Now Coach Ballard looking to answer that as a couple of late substitutions. They're able to get balls back into the game as Burnside will go back to the bench. As Dillard will check out as well if he hits the second free throw, and he does. So a lot of new faces on the floor here for Winfield to close out the quarter. They lead at 34-32, final minute of action here in the third. Atkins, nice backdoor cut to Sharps. He hits the deck hard as the layup will go, but Sharps took a nasty spill after being upended there. Thankfully, he's okay as he gets to his feet. So we'll take a look at it here on the instant replay again. There you see he just got upended trying to go up for that layup. Still had enough body control to finish it and has a chance to give Scott the lead back. And, you know, you saw that nasty spill that, or maybe even heard about it, that Scotty Browning took of Logan over in Chapmanville the other night in that fourth quarter and ended up with a concussion after it was over with. Thankfully, Sharps is okay, and Scotty, thankfully, he's okay as well for Logan. As in the backcourt now, travel will give it back to Scott as Miller shuffled his feet. And now, if you're Coach Tarr, we'll see if he comes back with any of his starters, and he will, as they couldn't hold up against the pressure on that trip, as Chris Radcliffe will check back out now for Winfield. 35-34, Scott leads it. Sets her dangerous inbounds pass taken away by Music, but he throws it away as well. Now here comes White into the middle, ducks under a defender and lays it in. What a move by Lawden White that time. And the lead is up to 3 for the Skyhawks. 35 seconds still to go in the third. Almost intercepted again, but now a 3-0 break here for Winfield. Layup, though, won't fall. It slipped out of his hand, it appeared. Music goes back up, counted, and the foul for him. Again, Reed Fisher had the clear layup that time, but just lost it on the way up. And it actually turns out better here for Winfield. A chance to tie the game up. You see the lay-in by White on the other end. Push the lead to 3, but now Music with 15 points here tonight, make it 16 as we're all even yet again. 25 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Winfield led it by 4 at halftime, led it by as much as 7 here in the third quarter, but Scott's fought back. 1 point held the lead by 3, but the 3-point play by Music has tied the game back up. As Scott holding for 1. They also get the ball to start quarter number 4 as Setzer with 4 seconds drives in. Kicks it out for Sharps with 1 second. He's going to have to heave at the horn. No good. Nearly banked it in, and that'll do it for the third quarter of action. Well, we head to the final 8 minutes, and we're back to where we started. It's all even here in Scott, West Virginia, as you are listening to high school basketball action with us, presented by Boone Memorial Hospital here on Video Productions.
Physical Therapy is a Tri-States Championship partner for comprehensive physical therapy and sports rehabilitation services. Access to physical therapy has never been easier, with extended hours and multiple services available. Generations Physical Therapy, multiple services, multiple locations, experience you can't trust.
Start of quarter number 4 here from Scott High School. Chris Kidd with you, with Butch Mounts, executive producer of Video Productions. Alongside us tonight, Sydney Mayo, our engineer, with Robbie Mounts, our camera operator. As we are all square at 37 apiece here between number 8 Winfield and number 5 Scott in Class AAA. Both teams' largest lead here tonight has been 7 points, but both sides have fought back all evening long. And we're right where we probably should be heading into the final period to see who can decide who takes this tough top 10 contest at Sharps. Thought he was fouled on that reverse layup. Looked to be blocked, though, by Winfield. Now here's Music. Inside he goes. Kicks it back out now. It's Griffith up against Atkins. Drives in strong. Kicks it in the corner. Music open for 3, but this one's short. Atkins tries to tip it out. Goes off a couple hands, and it finds Sharps. Sharps up the right side. Cut off. Dillard able to stay in front of him. Now they give it back to Setzer. Setzer over to his right. Miller on him. Man-to-man defense for the Generals. Setzer fade away with the right hand. Can't get it to fall, and rebounded by the Generals. Griffith to his right. Picked up by Atkins. Now dump it down for Miller. Into the middle for Langery. Back out for Dillard. Drives back to the free throw line. Bodied up by Walls. Kicks it out for Griffith. Fakes on a 3. Dribble to the right elbow. Now back out. Gets inside. Gives it off for Langery. Fakes on a jumper. Tries to drive in. Forces a pass. Almost taken away, but Miller finds it. Miller reverses it back out to Dillard. Open 3, and Winfield has the lead back at 40-37. 9 points now for Dillard here tonight off the bench for Winfield as they lob it inside for Knoll. Knoll fakes a pass, kicks it back up top. Sharps, he'll step into a 3. This one just off the mark to the right. And now Winfield an opportunity to retake a 2-possession lead. Griffith to the baseline as Music went flying back near midcourt. Dillard looks for a second 3 in a row, but this one's going to be short. Rebound taken by Walls, but what a play by Griffith as he stormed in and deflects it away and off of Walls. As you see the Dillard 3 in our little general store instant replay. Thus far, the only points here in the fourth quarter, nearly 2 minutes gone. They lob it in deep, almost taken away by Sharps. But Music able to grab it. Now here's Griffith, baseline jumper, and Winfield with the first 5 points of the fourth quarter. 42-37. Scott looking to answer. Nice lob pass to Setzer, but Setzer looked like he got caught in between Bank and Swish that time on his shot selection and missed off the back iron. Now here's Dillard, drives baseline, and a charge called. As Knoll able to get the position and give it back to Scott with 5:43 to go here in the fourth quarter. You hear some of the Winfield fans not happy with the call that time, but it looked like Knoll had established himself near the baseline. And now Scott needs to find their offense again here. It's come in spurts tonight for both teams. Nice backdoor cut by Setzer, and a good take and find by Knoll as well. Setzer now with 13 points. Now maybe it's time for the Skyhawks run. They've traded runs all night long, these two teams. Griffith over to Dillard, left corner 3, and he hits another. Dillard with 2 threes here in the fourth quarter has ballooned the lead to 6, but it's back down to 3 as Atkins answers on the other end. And that'll draw a quick timeout with 5:08 to go here in the fourth quarter. We'll step aside as well as you are watching high school basketball action with us, presented by BOONE.
On it, take it, reserve it, and drive it. Buy it at Thornhill. Buy it at Thornhill. Buy it at Thornhill. That's right. Getting your new get it just got easier.
Visit any of our 6 locations and get a personalized experience in purchasing your next new vehicle.
Tag one of our premium vehicles.
All we have to offer is speed at your
5:08 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Chris Kidd with you. Sydney Mayo, our engineer for tonight's contest. Robbie Mounts, our camera operator. Butch Mounts, executive producer of Video Productions, all here with us this evening here in the Hawks Nest. And a great game it has been between these top two teams in Class AAA, both in the top 10 coming in here tonight. And right now it's Winfield with the edge by 3 as Dillard drives baseline. He's been big so far here in the fourth quarter with a pair of three-pointers, but now pass knocked away. Setzer catches up to it, gives it back to Setzer, and a blocking foul called on Music, it appears, or Griffith won. Actually, it's Music underneath. So they'll get him for the block, and that'll end up sending White to the free throw line. Or no, they're going to say on the floor instead. And White was going to the free throw line, trying to convince them that he had a couple. And now Coach Tarr having something to say here to the officials, and looks like he's settling down now, just not happy that that wasn't a charge probably underneath that time. He felt like Music had gotten the position first. But thankfully, and a good job by the officiating crew there, again, just trying to talk to him, settle things down, let this be decided out on the floor as it needs to be, as that ball knocked away by Sharp, or knocked away from Sharps, I should say, but it'll stay with Scott. Setzer will now trigger it in instead. Looking, has to get it in quickly, and he's up against it, and that will be a 5-second call, but no, Scott going to get a timeout first. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here, and Coach Tarr now wanting the 5-second call too. And it was very, very close that time. Again, Scott using every last tenth of a second they had there before that 5-second call was going to be whistled. But they do save the possession. Scott has 3 timeouts remaining, Winfield 4 timeouts, so neither side has used many of their timeouts here this evening. It's just been back and forth all night long. And it's been a well-played game defensively, and we've seen the offenses be able to pick it up in different spurts here tonight. But these two teams coming in, known to play excellent defense, and that's what we've had here this evening. But it's Scott that's trailing at the moment, 45-42, with all 4 showing on the clock. And it'll be Setzer to inbound it. Lobs it in high for Clemens, able to make the grab. Clemens gives it back to White. He's double-teamed, try to bounce pass to Clemens, but gets away. Now Music with the ball for the Winfield Generals. Just gives it off to Griffith. He crosses the timeline. Sharps all over him. Griffith gets it back out to Music. Long 3 from the top of the key. Online, but too strong. Rebounded by Atkins. You could tell Music thought he had that one too once it left his hands. Nice grab underneath by Clemens. Goes up and he'll lay it in. Tough pass underneath. Was able to thread the needle, and Clemens gets his first bucket of the game. 45-44 in favor of Winfield. Nearly halfway home here in the fourth quarter. So get it to the free throw line for Miller. Now to Dillard. Fakes on a 3. Steps over inside the arc. His shot may have been blocked that time by Atkins, but Music able to get the rebound as he tried an entry pass and booted away by Setzer. You see here in our Cornell Auto Group instant replay. Great pass inside and great hands by Clemens to control that and get the layup to go. Now Miller, free throw line, fakes one way, goes the other. Shot blocked by Setzer, but Miller gets it back, goes up, rejected by Setzer again. Miller goes up a 3rd time and rejected by Setzer a 3rd time. Here comes Scott looking to reclaim the lead. Sharps counted on the foul. What a sequence for the Skyhawks as Setzer just continuing to deny Miller on the other end, refused to let him get the layup attempt off. And right out of that last block, it created a transition opportunity. As Sharps just kept it in his hands all the way and was able to control his body for the and one. He has 17 points now for the night. And Scott has retaken the lead with 3:32 remaining. Free throw is good, and the Skyhawks lead it by 2. Winfield led it by as much as 6 at the start of this fourth quarter. after we were tied coming into the period, but once again, Scott has fought back. Again, both these teams have done it all night long. Over into the corner, Music, open three on the way. That one online, but short. Rebounded by Langery, trying to get his way back up. Can't find anything against Clemens. Now finds Rice in the left corner, double team. Gets it back out for Griffith. We close in on 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Griffith underneath, double team, kicks it out. Finds Langery. Underneath bounce pass for Miller, and he's rejected once again. And I believe it was Setzer again. And now, wow, yeah, that was a pretty blatant foul by Miller, and they're going to call an intentional on him. He just ran up the floor and just shoved the shoulder right into him. And they call an intentional foul here with 2:51 remaining in the fourth quarter. And Miller obviously frustrated on the other end. He probably felt like he might have been fouled once or twice on some of those block attempts and didn't get a call, so he came back up the other way and just shoved his shoulder right through White that time. So an easy call for the officials. And White able to connect on the first. And like we said, you don't want any technicals or anything of that nature deciding the game. It's been so well played, and we've still got such a ways to go here still, but that could prove to loom large against Winfield coming down the stretch with 2:51 to go. As Walls will check back in here, and Clemens will go to the bench with 2:51 to play. Settrell inbound. Gets it in deep. White, ooh, he had a look there for a moment, but chose not to pull the trigger. Gives it over for Sharps. So he'll pull it out towards midcourt, looking for some momentum. Perhaps now looking to run some clock if you're the Skyhawks. And possession arrow is in Winfield's favor should we have a jump ball. 17 fouls against Winfield here in the second half, only 4 against Scott as Atkins gets by a man. Drives in, Langery though gets a hold of it, and they're going to call him for a travel. And Langery was able to get the loose ball, but he rolled over. And that's typically the no-no right there while you're on the ground. If you roll over, they're going to get you for the travel. And that's what happened that time. And now Coach Sean Ballard will take a 30-second timeout with 2:26 remaining. So we'll keep things here as the Scott band tunes it up behind us once again here tonight. And again, if you've been with us throughout the broadcast, it has been a great back and forth affair on both sides. Again, we saw Winfield get out quickly in the first quarter after a rough start on both sides as they took a 6-1 lead, but then Scott was able to answer back. Had a 10-0 run. They eventually took a 7-point lead, but then Winfield answered back. Came back to take a 4-point lead into the half. Scott able to come back, tie the game at the end of the third quarter, and after Winfield opened up the fourth quarter with a pair of three-pointers, Scott has now outscored them by 10 ever since then. And again, while we're here as well, and again, if you have been with us on Scott Skyhawk broadcast for a long time now, you know you're used to the voice of Joe Linville, and we just want to tell Joe, please get better soon, buddy. We're all still thinking about you, and I appreciate you allowing me to have your seat for one night here, and hopefully I've filled it okay. Again, I know I definitely can't fill the shoes you have with the Scott community, and again, we're hoping and praying you continue to progress and getting better, and hopefully you're back here in this seat soon where you belong, man. Again, he's been one of the best to do it for a long time, and we want to see him back as soon as possible once he's healthy. So again, please get well soon, Joe Linville. Is on the other end. Langery into the paint, and a little short jumper will fall, and the lead back down to 2 at 49-47 with 1:54 to play, and Winfield will take a full timeout. We'll do it as well and be back after this as you are watching high school basketball action with us, presented by BOONE Memorial Hospital here on Video Productions. 49-47, Winfield trailing Scott with 1:44 to play here in the fourth quarter. Chris Kidd here with you this evening on Video Productions. These two teams could end up facing each other with a trip to Charleston on the line later on this year. And Scott has the edge at the moment, but we've seen that change quite quickly as the evening's moved along. But it'll be Setzer now going to the free throw line with 1:31 to play. And this will be a 1-and-1 for the Skyhawks. Setzer tonight, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. As Clemens looking to check back in. They won't put him down low. You thought maybe they might at first, but instead they're going to drop him back to try and establish position down low on the defensive end. It's a big 1-and-1, and it's off the back iron. Rebound tipped by Walls, and let's see where the officials go. They're going to say it's Winfield ball with a minute and a half to go. Setzer has 13 points here tonight. Could not get the front end of the 1-and-1. And now Winfield with a chance to tie or take the lead on this trip. 1:20 to go. Music up top for Griffith. Back over to Music. He'll drive baseline. Pull up jumper. We're all even again. Music with 18 points now on the night. They go full court pressure on the Skyhawks as Atkins circles around and able to get it back to Setzer with 1 minute to play here in regulation. Setzer looking, double team, finds Atkins. Atkins travels with it. He had a lane to the basket at first, but tried to pull it back out, and I think that momentary hesitation is what caused him to travel. And now Coach Tarr wants a full timeout with 55.8 seconds to go. We'll step aside once again to see if Winfield can retake the lead on this trip, as you are watching high school basketball action with us right here on Video Productions presented by Boone Memorial Hospital. .8 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. We are all square at 49 apiece. Chris Kidd with you. Alongside me, Sydney Mayar, our engineer for tonight's game. Robbie Mounts, our camera operator, and Butch Mounts, executive producer of Video Productions. And we've had one heck of a contest here tonight between these top 10 teams in Class AAA. And Winfield looking to retake the lead on this trip. 42 seconds to go. Both teams with 2 timeouts, and Setzer with a steal. Behind his back, it's by a defender, and he's elbowed on the way to the basket, and that'll send him to the free throw line with 36.7 seconds left, as Langery just threw out that left shoulder to try and catch a piece of him before he got all the way to the basket. And this will be the final 1-and-1 for Scott. The 9th team foul against Winfield, still only 4 against Scott. Setzer missed on the front end of the 1-and-1 a moment ago, but connects this time. It's 4 of 6 from the line now and 14 points on the evening to try and take a 2-point lead with 36.7 seconds to go, and he does. And now it appears Scott will call time here, full timeout with 36.7 seconds to go to try and get their defense set up. We'll step aside one more time here and be back with the conclusion of the fourth quarter right after this, as you are watching high school basketball presented by Boone Memorial Hospital right here on Video Productions. 35 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. Chris Kidd with you, with Scott leading at 51-49 after the 2 free throws by Setzer give them the lead. Now if you're Winfield, how long do you wait here? Music's going to likely be the man with the ball in his hands as they get it to Rice. Now back to Music with 18 seconds. Music drives in, kicks it off underneath the Langery, makes a tough catch, goes up. We're all tied with 11 seconds to go. Scott going to push here without a timeout. 7 seconds. Setzer drives in, had it knocked away, and it goes off the leg of Setzer and over to Winfield with 5.2 seconds to go. And now Winfield will call a 30-second timeout and a chance to try and take the win here in regulation with 5.2 seconds to go. Both teams still with a timeout under their belt. And we'll see if Winfield wants to try and get this towards midcourt and maybe burn their final timeout. But that was a great lob pass to set up Langery inside for his 8th point of the game and his 4th this quarter. We were all even coming into the fourth quarter. Both teams took leads that looked like they might be able to create some distance, but both times, both have fought back in order to tie the game. And now it looks like Winfield will get the final opportunity to try and steal the game here in regulation. As it'll be Miller to trigger it in underneath Scott's basket. Winfield still has to be careful here of an errant pass. Scott's been so good at intercepting all night long. As he's looking, finally throws it into Griffith. He'll race into the front court with 2 seconds. Down to 1, into the corner. Music for the win! No good! We're going to overtime here in Scott as we are all even at 51 apiece. We'll be back right after this for the start of overtime as you are watching high school basketball action with us, presented by Boone Memorial Hospital here on Video Productions. (51-51) our score as we head to overtime here at Scott Skyhawk High School. Chris Kidd with you alongside me. Sydney May, our engineer for tonight's broadcast. Robbie Mounts, our camera operator. And Butch Mounts, executive producer here on Video Productions, as Scott will win the tip to begin the 4-minute overtime period. We said it's been nip and tuck all the way through. Neither team's led by more than 7, but Scott will take a 2-point lead to begin overtime. Has a great find by Setzer, able to feed it off to Clemens underneath. He's got 4 points for the game. Langery over to Rice. And Winfield had a 6-point fourth quarter lead that Scott erased. Scott had a 5-point fourth quarter lead that Winfield erased. Now who can gain momentum the longest in this game? It's not been sustained on either side as Griffith misses a 3, but great job by Winfield to gain possession back as Dillard into the paint, floater up, can't bank it in, and rebounded by Setzer. Now maybe a chance for Scott to get a little separation here with 3:11 to go in overtime. Setzer out near midcourt, bodies his way in, kicks it out for Walls. Now over to Sharps. Sharps trying to get away from Music, almost tripped himself up that time. Gets it to Setzer. Setzer, nice look for Sharps into the paint, kicks it into the left corner, back out. Now to Adkins, dribbles in. crosses over to the other side. Scott going to work on the clock here. Setzer lobs it over far side. Now back out for Sharps. Sharps penetrates in, circles back around. Again, 19 fouls against Winfield, so the next foul will put Scott in the double bonus. Scott still with only 14 fouls. They've still got a couple they can give. They kick it back out. Now Atkins going to take the three. In and out, no good. Boy, that could have been huge if that would have fallen. He got a great look. He hit one in the fourth quarter, but that one just wouldn't go down. Now here's Music. Cross-court pass, almost thrown away, but Rice able to save it. Rice lobs it back over for Music. 2:10 to go in overtime. Langery had the tying layup to send us to overtime in regulation. Now back over to Rice. Cross-court for Dillard. Dillard into the middle for Langery. He'll take the jumper from there, off the back iron. Clemens boxes out, tries to save it, and he's going to be pushed from behind. And they're going to call a foul on Winfield as Langery's going to get called for the shove. That'll be his third. And with 1:57 to go in overtime, Clemens will go to the other end to shoot the double bonus. Clemens has not been to the free throw line tonight. Didn't score until the fourth quarter, but he had 2 points in the fourth, 2 points so far in overtime. It's his first free throw too strong. And Scott has dropped everybody back off the free throw line here, not contesting the the rebound. Second free throw, and can't get the friendly roll on either. So the lead stands at 2 still for Scott. 1:50 to go in overtime. Rice up top, knocked away, but they're going to get a push on Sharps. As you hear some boos from the Scott side after that call. That'll be just the 15th foul against Scott. So they still have one more to give before Winfield will be in the 1-and-1. Rice in the backcourt with it, going up against Walls. Gets screened at the top of the key. Now here comes Rice driving in on the left side. He's cut off, looking for help. Gives it over for Langery. Drives in on Clemens, spins to the left hand, and Langery ties the game back up. He's now into double figures with 10 points, and it's 53 apiece. 1:25 to go in overtime. And Setzer now is going to draw the foul as Dillard gets called for the shove. And again, Coach Tarr not happy with it. He's trying to restrain himself. He knows that he almost got a technical back in the fourth quarter. Now checking back in, the next whistle will be white for Scott. As Setzer connects on the first. He hit 2 big free throws at the end of regulation that momentarily gave Scott a 2-point lead before Winfield tied it up. And now has given Scott the lead back with 1:22 to play here in overtime. Second free throw short. Rebound taken away by Winfield. 54-53, Skyhawks lead it. They pressure in the backcourt. Rice into the middle for Music. They get it to Dillard across midcourt. Now back to Music, over to Dillard. Again, he hit a couple threes at the start of the fourth to Dillard, so they have to respect his outside shooting. So we hit 1 minute to go in overtime. Rice with it on the right side. Rice gives it off for Griffith. Bounce pass down low for Langery. He's gone to work here in the fourth quarter in overtime, and he does again as he lays it in. 55-54 Winfield, 45 seconds to go in overtime. Sharps out near midcourt. Dribbles back, looking for help here. Instead, brings it back towards midcourt again, going one-on-one with Dillard. Into the middle, tough fade away, can't get it to fall, and rebounded by Winfield. Under 30 seconds to go, and Coach Tarr will call his final timeout with 28.6 seconds left. So we'll keep things here with Winfield holding a 1-point lead. And Scott, now what do you do defensively? Again, you still have to foul twice before Winfield will be in the 1-and-1. So we'll see if Coach Ballard elects to take a foul quickly here just to set up that scenario. But then how long does Scott wait to foul after that? Again, you want to try and give yourself a chance to come up with a steal here if at all possible, and Scott's been able to do that quite a bit here tonight by pressuring Winfield ball handlers. So let's see if they elect to go with that for maybe the first 10 seconds or so before they elect to start fouling. It was a good look they got in the lane that time on the turnaround by Sharps, but just could not get it to fall. And again, if you're just joining us, it's been back and forth all night long. We've said it a few times, the largest lead's only been 7 points for either side. Both have enjoyed a lead of that margin, but both times, Winfield or Scott both have come charging back. In this game, knew coming in it was going to be about even talent-wise, and it's been about even on the scoreboard all night long. So it's just coming down now to who's going to have the last surge or the last push here. And with 28.6 seconds left, it's Winfield in control with the ball as they get it into Langery. Back to Dillard, now to Griffith, in the middle for Langery. Again, Scott's got to foul twice here, so they finally do foul with 8 seconds gone. 20.2 seconds showing on the clock. So the next foul will put Winfield in the 1-and-1. And it'll be important here for Winfield to see who gets the ball. And now Coach Ballard's going to burn his timeout with 20.2 seconds left. And it looks like Coach Ballard trying to ask and see what he has left. And I don't know if they gave both sides their extra timeout at the start of overtime or not. Again, we're both down to one timeout at the end of regulation, and it stayed that way on the scoreboard. So I think both sides trying to see if they received that second timeout or the bonus timeout you get going into overtime. You'd imagine both sides could use it at this juncture, still with 20.2 seconds to go. But if you're Winfield and you're looking at free throw shooters here, again, Music is 2 of 3 from the line tonight. Miller, 1 of 1. And Dillard is 2 of 2. So you would imagine those would maybe be some of the options they're looking at here. Probably Griffith as well. But either way, it's going to be a very nerve-wracking front end of 1-on-1 here. In overtime, on the road, top 10 game between both clubs in AAA. So you want to try and get it probably your most experienced player. And probably your calmest player here if you're able to, if you're Winfield. But again, if you're Scott, how long do they try and pressure without fouling here, or do they just foul immediately and hope to get a Winfield miss out of this? So it'll be Griffith to inbound it. So they stack the formation. They get it into the backcourt for Rice. Again, Winfield waiting for Rice now with 15 seconds. Throws it in the middle for Langery. They get it over to Dillard with 12 seconds. And they finally foul with 11.6 seconds to go. So again, Rice might have been a decent candidate to send to the line there if you were Scott. He hadn't shot a free throw tonight. They wanted to get the ball out of his hands. But now here's Drew Dillard, who's been so big off the bench all night long, as they're going to bring Clemens back in now for some size down low against Langery on possibly a contested rebound. But Dillard has 12 points on the night. He's 2 of 2 from the line off the bench for Winfield. He connects on the first. Dillard gives Winfield a 2-point lead with 11.6 to go. A make here would force Scott to have to go for a 3 to tie the game. Second free throw rolls off, rebounded by Clemens. And here comes Scott, 7 seconds left. Setzer looks for a screen up top, drives to the middle, gets inside, layup. We're going to double overtime as Setzer connects. And we're all tied at 56 here from Scott High School. We'll be back after this break for double overtime here in Boone County as you are listening to and watching high school basketball action presented by Boone Memorial Hospital right here on Video Productions. We are back now for the start of double overtime here from Scott High School. Chris Kidd with you. And now an interception to start double overtime as Setzer threw it away into the middle. Layup will go for Music. And Winfield retakes the lead now at 58-56. So here comes Sharps, drives in hard, can't get the layup to go, but he'll be fouled by Music. And you got to start to wonder now as the fouls start to pile up here on both sides what the foul situation is. Unfortunately, we don't know. They haven't posted the numbers or the fouls on the scoreboard tonight. And unfortunately, sometimes you can't see the numbers being called as they're going to the scores table, so we're kind of flying blind as far as some of the fouls are right now. But Sharps hits the first and he connects on the second. And we're all even once again. These two have been like super glue with each other. They can't get away from each other. It's been nip and tuck all the way through regulation, and now the start of the second overtime as Langery got his man in the air, lays it in. Winfield thought they had an and one that time, but didn't get the whistle, but nevertheless they retake the lead. 60-58. Setzer hit the driving layup at the buzzer to send us to double OT, gives it to Sharps, and he'll lay it in to tie the game again. 60-60 your score. Who's got enough left in the tank here in overtime, double overtime, and now Griffith throws it away. Try to wrap around past the Music, and it flies out of bounds. As White will check back in now for Clemens, as those two have been subbing for each other most all night here. So they'll get Clemens up towards Coach Ballard here to be ready to put him back in at the next opportunity. As 1 minute gone here in double overtime, 60-60 your score. As White dribbling around near midcourt here. I'd say both sides don't mind taking the breather at the moment. Possession arrow is in Winfield's favor. Should we have a tie-up? Winfield not coming out to chase at the moment, so we'll see how long Owen Atkins and Scott elect to hold here. They did this at the start of the first overtime as well, but Winfield was contesting at that point. Scott ran off over a minute on the clock, and then Atkins got a good look from three, but just barely rimmed out on him. And now here comes Winfield out after letting about 40 seconds go off the clock. Sharps gets into the middle. Left corner, balls for three. Off the front rim, no good, and rebounded by Griffith. So both times out of that look from Scott, they got good look from three, but just not able to knock it down. And now foul out front. Going to go against Walls on the reach-in. And that will be team foul number 8, so that'll put Winfield at the line to shoot the 1-on-1. As Clemens will check back in now for Scott with 2:03 to go in double overtime. Miller will check back in for Dillard. As Rice goes to the free throw line. And Rice hits the front end. That's 5 points now tonight for Will Rice. Also a really great tennis player during the season as well for Winfield. He made it to the state tournament in tennis as well last season, and he hits both free throws. So 62-60, Winfield leads it. 1:55 to go in the second overtime. Setzer gets a screen from Clemens, drives in left side, lost it, and it'll go off his foot and out of bounds over to Winfield. That'll get Dillard back off the bench for Winfield and Knoll back in for Scott as Clemens will go back to the bench. And Scott was able to get a little separation in the first overtime but couldn't finish Winfield off. Now Winfield with a chance to take a 2-possession lead as Dillard cross court for Griffith. Now let's see if Winfield wants to try and burn some clock here. Griffith gets caught after picking up his dribble, finds Rice underneath. They go quickly to Dillard, backs in, somehow puts that up above his head as he was not even facing the rim, but Dillard with great body control lays it in, and Winfield now has a 4-point lead. Sharps kicks it out for Atkins, dribbles in, kicks it out now. Walls into the left corner, 3 on the way for Sharps, but off the mark and rebounded by Winfield. 1:10 to go now in the second overtime. Winfield holding a 4-point lead. Up ahead they go to Dillard, now cutting to the basket is Langery, and he'll lay it in. And that could be the backbreaker here with 1 minute to go in double overtime. Scott now will burn a timeout with 55.7 seconds to go, in desperate need of a basket on this trip. We'll be back as well right after this as you are watching high school basketball action with us, presented by Boone Memorial Hospital here on Video Productions. (66-60), Winfield has taken control here in the second overtime. And now Scott in desperate need of a basket on this trip. Atkins looking to provide it, and he's fouled on the three. Oh, what a mistake by Winfield with 50.5 seconds to go, and that'll send Owen Atkins to the free throw line now to shoot 3 free throws as Setzer is doubled over on the other side of the court right now, kind of holding his chest. I don't know if he took a shot or not. And then you got Sharps coming over to check on him as Atkins needs all 3 but misses all the first one. And then Setzer's just poured his heart out here tonight on the floor for the Skyhawks. As Atkins hits the second free throw, and now they're going to get Setzer out of the game here to come and get checked on, as White, along with Cole Elkins, will check in. And if you see it on our camera there as well, you can see Setzer just over there holding right around its midsection, as Atkins able to get 2 out of the 3, so that cuts it back to a 4-point game. Still plenty of time here in second overtime, as they'll foul Rice in the backcourt. And this will be the final 1-on-1 here for Winfield with 46 seconds to go, and Rice already knocked down the front end of a 1-on-1 and hit both free throws that he attempted here in the second overtime. Now Setzer will check back in for Elkins after getting a chance to catch his breath and maybe get a chance to heal up a little bit there during that small break. Rice tonight has 6 points. Those free throws a moment ago were his first since the first half, and he connects on the first. 67-62 Winfield. Rice sinks it calmly. Hits all 4 of these free throws in overtime with no problem, and now a 6-point lead again for Winfield. Sharps dribbles in, kicks it out to Atkins. Can't get off the 3, gives it back to Sharps. Now over to Setzer. Setzer with 33 seconds left, drives in into the corner. Atkins can't get it off again, drives in, they kick it out. And Scott having to waste a lot of time here, and now it's stolen away from White. 24 seconds left, and Winfield can sense it now with 23.6 seconds to go. Is this a chance to push this to a 3-possession lead with 23.6 seconds remaining? It's been a heck of a ball game here tonight from Scott High School. And truly a game deserving of 2 teams that are ranked in the top 8 in AAA coming into tonight. As Rice sinks the front end of the 1-on-1. Or excuse me, this is the first two-shot team penalty. And now a chance for the largest lead of the game, and Rice able to give it to Winfield at 70-62. So now Scott in desperation mode. They get it to White. 3 on the way. Going to be too strong. Rebounded by Music. Music had it knocked away by Sharps, but he dribbled on the baseline. And that'll give it back to Winfield with 14.7 seconds to go. As Elkins will check in here for Scott. And they're going to go ahead and get Setzer out of here again. He left it all on the floor tonight for Scott. But you can tell how much pain he's been in here in double overtime. And they're just going to call the dogs off for him on the evening as they get it up ahead for Langery, and he'll be fouled with 13.7 seconds to go. So again, now it's all academic as Winfield, barring a collapse of epic proportions, are going to get out of here with the win tonight and advance to 7-5 on the year. And it'll drop Scott to 7-4 on the season as Langery misses on the first attempt. Second free throw short as well. Scott will get another look at it here with 10 seconds left. Sharps will pull on a deep three. Almost banked it in, but no good. Rebounded by Winfield. And that should do it here tonight as the Winfield Generals able to stave off the Scott Skyhawks in a dogfight here this evening from the Hawks' Nest. And they win at 70-62 in double overtime. We'll step aside for a quick break and be back to recap our action right after this as you are watching high school basketball action presented by BOONE Memorial Hospital here on Video Productions. (70-62), Winfield wins it in double overtime tonight here in Scott. Chris Kidd with you as we'll run through our final scoring on both sides. For the Skyhawks, leading them and leading all scorers tonight was Jaden Sharps with 22 points. Then you had Isaac Setzer with 18 points, Loudon White with 11 points, Owen Atkins with 7 points, and Caden Clemens finishing things off with 4 points here this evening. On the other end for Winfield, they were led by Ross Music with 20 points. Then you had Drew Dillard off the bench with 15 points tonight. Toby Langery finishing this evening with 16 points. The vast majority of those coming in overtime and in the fourth quarter as he played strong for 12 of those 16 during that stretch. Then you had Will Rice with 10 points, Cody Griffith with 6 points, and Jace Miller finishing with 3 points on the night. And again, tremendous ball game here tonight as number 8 Winfield knocks off number 5 Scott. Both teams will be in action later this week, and Scott will end up hosting the Logan Wildcats later on this week. So make sure you stay with us here on Video Productions for more high school basketball action all week long and all season long, as it's been a great go of it so far and a great season. We're looking forward to a lot more of it as we head towards the home stretch of the regular season. But again, tonight, it's Winfield winning it in double overtime, 70-62 over Scott. So for Robbie Mounts, our camera operator tonight, Sydney Mayo, our engineer for this evening's broadcast, Butch Mounts, the executive producer of Video Productions, I'm Chris Kidd saying so long tonight here from Scott High School as you have been watching high school basketball action presented by BOONE Memorial Hospital here on Video Productions.